Good evening, I'm Michael and you're watching Kini News, the show that brings you today's biggest stories. The country's long-awaited target of reducing the number of daily new cases to a single digit was reached today. Now the real challenge would be to reduce it to 0. For the first time since March, Malaysia today recorded a single-digit increase in COVID-19 new cases. With only 7 cases recorded today, this makes it the lowest number in 3 months.
Dan kesimpulannya, kes pada hari ini adalah adalah catatan terendah sejak dilaporkan PKPB, dan iaitu 7 kes. 2 kes adalah kes import, masing-masing 1 kes daripada India dan Mesir. 5 kes penularan tempatan, iaitu melibatkan kesemuanya warga negara.
The last time the country recorded 7 or fewer cases was on March 8th, before the implementation of the Movement Control Order, which only came into effect on March 18th. The country recorded 6 COVID-19 cases on March 8th and 9 new cases on March 12th. Meanwhile, if you're trying to register your account using the government's MySejahtera app this afternoon, there was a reason why you probably couldn't complete the registration.
Memang betul, susulan pengumuman kerajaan berkenaan dengan kredit RM50 ke akaun e-dompet pengguna setelah mereka memuat turun aplikasi MySejahtera, didapati pendaftaran adalah sesak, iaitu kita mendapati 700,000 pendaftaran dalam serentak dalam masa yang singkat, iaitu 1 minit. 1 minit 700,000. Jadi kita menasihatkan mereka yang ingin muat turun aplikasi, mungkin kita adakan penjarakan juga. Jadi kalau kita boleh amalkan penjarakan, jadi tak ada kesesakan kat situ.
If you're wondering what Dr. Nur Hisham was talking about, it all happened after Senior Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob made the announcement today. But first, good news for people who go to the gym. Malaysians who have not been to the gym in months can finally rejoice as the government has decided to allow gyms to reopen. And there's more good news. Not only gyms, other recreational activities will also be allowed.
Gimnasium, dewan tertutup seperti dewan badminton, kompleks sukan pelbagai, pusat snooker dan pusat-pusat sukan lain bermula pada 15 hari bulan Jun 2020. Bagaimanapun, operator kompleks sukan perlu mengisi borang notifikasi pembukaan terlebih dahulu melalui laman web MITI ataupun Kementerian Perdagangan Antarabangsa dan Industri bagi rujukan SOP dan untuk tujuan pemantauan oleh Kementerian Belia dan Sukan. Borang notifikasi boleh diakses bermula hari ini, 8 Jun.
Meanwhile, Senior Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob also revealed that the government's MySejahtera app will be a prerequisite for those seeking to redeem the RM50 e-wallet credit previously announced by Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin as part of the National Economic Recovery Plan, or known as Penjana. Ismail Sabri said this is to encourage more people to download and use the app.
Seperti yang diumumkan oleh Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin dalam Perutusan Pelan Jana Semula Ekonomi Negara ataupun Penjana, kerajaan akan mengkreditkan RM50 ke dalam akaun e-dompet pengguna setelah mereka memuat turun aplikasi MySejahtera.
Previously, Muhyiddin did not mention any preconditions for the RM50 e-wallet credit when announcing Penjana on Friday last week. In his announcement, he said the government would channel RM50 to consumers' e-wallets under the program e-Penjana scheme to encourage contactless payments. In turn, e-wallet service providers will match the government's contribution through vouchers, rebates and discounts worth RM50. Today is our Yang di-Pertuan Agong Sultan Abdullah Sultan Ahmad Shah's official birthday, and in conjunction with this special day, His Majesty delivered an important message to all Malaysians.
Yang di-Pertuan Agong His Majesty Sultan Abdullah Sultan Ahmad Shah, in conjunction with his official birthday today, has expressed hope that Malaysians of all races, religious beliefs and cultures will continue to maintain unity and prosperity in the country. Comptroller of the Royal Household for Istana Negara, Ahmad Fadil Samsudin, in a statement said Sultan Abdullah also called on Malaysians to stand united in helping the government to succeed in economic recovery efforts for the well-being of the people and the country. He said His Majesty also urged the people to remain patient and disciplined and to keep up with new normal practices, as well as to obey all directives issued by the government in an effort to contain and break the chain of COVID-19 infections. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin, on behalf of Malaysians, conveyed well wishes to Yang di-Pertuan Agong Sultan Abdullah Sultan Ahmad Shah for His Majesty's official birthday.
Perikatan Nasional or Muafakat Nasional, how will UMNO and PAS contest in the next big election? According to a PAS leader, he seems to be leaning towards Perikatan. Perikatan Nasional is getting stronger, according to PAS Secretary General Taqiyuddin Hassan, who said the coalition partners have stepped up on cooperation. Taqiyuddin also suggested that the coalition will work together in the next general election. He said this would include finalizing seat negotiations for GE15. The PAS leader said opposition speculation saying otherwise was psychological warfare, though he did not specify what speculation he was addressing. In his statement, he also said the cooperation and tolerance between all PN members will further strengthen the PN government's position at the federal and state levels until the end of its term. Yesterday, however, Simpang Renggam MP Mazli Malik said UMNO would likely dominate the coalition and work together with PAS under the Muafakat Nasional platform. The former Education Minister pointed out that there is no indication UMNO intends to contest GE15 under the Perikatan platform. Seat negotiations are likely to be a thorny issue for UMNO, PAS and Bersatu as the three parties appeal mostly to the same groups. PKR MP R. Sivarasa will be meeting the police on Wednesday over comments he made last year, which is bringing him back memories of when BN was in power.
Veteran lawmaker Sivarasa Rasya has been summoned by the police over a comment he made last year about the arrests under the Security Offences Special Measures Act or SOSMA that supposedly involved the Liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam or LTTE. In a Twitter post this afternoon, the Sungai Buloh MP said, quote, "It is like we've gone back to the BN era." According to him, he has been summoned to the Sungai Buloh District Police Headquarters on Wednesday. In November last year, Sivarasa, who was at the time the Deputy Rural and Regional Development Minister, had suggested that the, quote, deep state played a role in the decision to charge 12 people for purported links to the defunct Sri Lankan-based separatist group designated as a terrorist organization by Putrajaya. The PKR lawmaker said this was because the decision to prosecute was made while the Attorney General was away for 2 weeks. Among those charged were 2 DAP Assembly persons G. Saminadan and P. Gunasekaran.
Coming up next, we tell you the story of Mariani Ramli, who has dedicated her life to making sure gibbons never disappear from our jungles. Did you know Malaysia is home to 5 species of gibbons? But one day they may disappear from our jungles because they are sought after pets and a target for poachers.
It's a long time. Yeah, it needs a full life commitment.
33-year-old Mariani was originally a forestry officer. A decade ago, she never thought that she would choose to give up the post she held for 10 years to dedicate her life to the conservation of gibbons. Over the years, she sold all her belongings and went abroad to learn how to conserve and rehabilitate gibbons. It all started with one mission, a mission to take care of a gibbon.
I volunteer with the Wildlife Department to taking care of the confiscated gibbons. After few months taking care of the first gibbon named Alec, I realized dia perlukan more space. Dia nampak dia tak happy, nampak dia macam itulah something wrong with him. That's from there I start to cari more information about his species. I've been contacted by ada orang kampung ni telling that he have a gibbon. He love the gibbon tapi dia tak tahu macam mana nak treat dia. Bila the first time bila I tengok Daru dekat kandang kecil, dia dah macam hentak-hentak badan, apa kan, peluk badan dia sendiri, and then dia gigit tangan dia sendiri. I just, at the moment I cakap, okay, let me do. I cakap kalau dia tak boleh, maybe I pun tak boleh, but maybe I can learn to do more to rehabilitate.
Since then, Mariani has been working to rescue and rehabilitate the gibbon population. According to her, rescued gibbons are usually found traumatized, and it would take 5 to 10 years to redevelop their skills before they can be returned to the wild. Rescuing and rehabilitating gibbons are two very different things altogether. If a baby gibbon loses its ability to survive in the wild due to interference from humans, it will die because it is unable to adapt to the jungle. The rehabilitation program includes teaching them survival techniques such as climbing trees, foraging, and identifying danger. Currently, Mariani has set up a gibbon rehabilitation center in Pahang where 12 gibbons are currently living. She revealed that gibbons can be re-released into the wild after 7 stages of testing, which include mental condition, physical condition, contact with similar animals, an appropriate diet, gaining acceptance from other wild animals, the ability to detect danger, and even successful mating. In recent years, Mariani has noted that the singing of the gibbons is slowly disappearing from the Malaysian rainforest.
Dulu tahun 2007, 2008, 2009 bila masuk hutan sikit tak payah masuk dalam, I can still hear gibbon singing easily. Now even if you trekking 5 km, 10 km, tak semestinya you boleh dengar gibbons lah. That's how this species you can see dah makin decrease the population. It's really sad lah that the animal you used to see and listen dah tak ada dah. I hear this gibbon singing, I have something dalam hati I tau, macam something terdetik in my heart that said one day I want these gibbons to singing like this in Malaysia.
As human beings, we cannot let our obsession bring harm to the gibbons. Putting a stop to the wildlife pet trade is how we can show that we care, so that in the symphony of sounds in the Malaysian rainforest, the song of the gibbon will still be heard.
2 Buffalo police officers were arraigned on felony assault charges after a viral video showed them shoving an elderly protester.
We had 2 of our police officers who were charged and arrested this morning and arraigned in front of Judge Hanna this morning on assault in the 2nd degree. And this particular assault charge in the 2nd degree is a felony.
That's New York District Attorney John J. Flynn on Saturday as he announced the charges filed against 2 Buffalo police officers, Robert McCabe and Aaron Targolsky. Both officers pleaded not guilty and were released after a virtual arraignment. McCabe and Targolsky were arrested on Saturday in connection with this viral video. Officers shoved a 75-year-old protester to the ground, and even after blood began to seep out from the protester's head, police officers could be seen on tape walking around him without offering any assistance. The altercation, which took place on Thursday at a rally against police brutality, sparked an outcry. A day before being charged and arrested, the 2 were suspended from the force. The injured protester, Martin Gugino, a long-time community activist, survived the fall but was critically injured. Governor Cuomo on Saturday repeated his outrage at the cops' action and praised swift disciplinary action against them.
The police have to do their jobs, but they don't have the right to abuse, to hurt, to use unnecessary force, and they're going to be held accountable.
But the 2 officers have their supporters. All 57 members of a police tactical unit in Buffalo resigned on Friday from the team to protest the suspension of their 2 colleagues.
I implore the rank and file of the Buffalo Police Department to think about the oath they took when they were sworn in as police officers, and think about what they promised to do to protect our community, to protect our city. And if you're mad at me, fine, be mad at me. I don't care.
The 2 officers are set to appear on July 20th for a felony hearing and will remain suspended without pay. And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook for the latest news updates. I'll be back with more tomorrow, same time, same place. I'm Prasad Michael. Thank you for watching.